Thank you very much. Hello, I'm Alexander Armstrong, and this is Pointless, the quiz show where the lowest scorers are the biggest winners. To stay in the game, our contestants need to score as few points as possible. How do they score as few points as possible? Well, they need to come up with the most obscure answers they can. We've asked all our questions on Pointless to 100 people before the show. Can you plumb the depths of your knowledge and find those elusive answers that no one else can think of? So, for example, we gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many six-letter countries as they could. And we found out that 70 of them said France, an obvious answer that would score you a horribly high 70 points. However, only 30 of them said Sweden, a less obvious country that would score you a respectably low 30 points. Now, occasionally there are even some answers that none of our 100 people could name. So, for example, none of them said Malawi. So that would have been a truly pointless country, if you understand me. And that would score you absolutely nothing. You see, that's what you want. If you find any of those, we will add £250 to today's jackpot. Before we go any further, let's meet today's players. Bob and Graham, welcome back. We give everyone 2 chances to reach the Pointless final, and this is your second and final chance. Can you remind us where you are from and how you two know each other?
We're from Cardiff and Newport, respectively. Graham and I met in a bar about 17 years ago. It's not a romance story. And we've been buddies ever since. We're both round tablers, and Graham's a good karate expert.
A good karate expert, notice. Not just a karate expert, a good karate expert.
Just watch yourself.
I know, I better. Very good. How far did you get on last time?
We got to the final, didn't we?
You got to the head-to-head. What went wrong in the end?
Alto saxophone.
That was it.
Soprano saxophone, sorry.
Yeah. Dear, oh dear. Well, best of luck today. Maybe through to the final, I think. On to our next pair, Matt and Dave. You are the second pair today. Welcome to the show. How do you two know each other?
Dave and I are accountants, and we work together in Southampton, but we're not as boring as we sound, we hope.
Everybody says this. Poor old accountants. You get such a raw deal. Boring, for heaven's sake. Would a boring person wear that green jumper? Would he?
I'm clearly a very confident person.
Yes, very good. Well, no, best of luck to you. I'm sure you'll do fantastically well. Catherine and Deanne, you are our third pair today. Welcome to the show. How do you two know each other?
Thank you. We've known each other for about 10 years now. We work in the same place, and we are both teachers, and we are definitely not boring school teachers. Definitely not.
You're not? I know you're not. Whereabouts are you teachers?
We teach up in Northumberland in a school, middle school, a place called Prudhoe.
Prudhoe?
Yeah, well, if you're posh, you say Prudhoe, but we say Prudhoe, because that's what it's called.
Right. Well, very best of luck to you. And welcome back to our fourth pair today, Zena and Julie. This is your second and final chance on Pointless. Remind us who you are.
We're mother and daughter from Walsall in the West Midlands. I'm a project manager, and amongst a lot of other professions, Mum is a retired pub landlady.
What categories are you hoping might come up today?
Anything but geography.
Anything but geography? Yes. OK. And finally, Rick and Anthony, welcome to the show. How do you two know each other?
Anthony and I were both professional musicians. I met Anthony in 1969 when he joined the band, and we've been best mates ever since. But now I'm retired due to ill health. I'm sick of travelling.
Sick of travelling. Well, nice of you to travel here. Where have you travelled from?
Well, we've come from Huddersfield today.
Very good. Yeah. Well, welcome to the show, and the very best of luck to you. Of course, there is one final person I need to introduce to you all. He is the man with all the pointless facts and figures. It's my pointless friend, it's Richard. Richard, how are you?
I'm very well, how are you?
Seldom better.
Excellent. As you say, I've got all the facts and figures on today's show. At the end of each question, I'll go through all the most obvious answers, the things that everyone in our 100 has said. But more crucially, I'll go through all the pointless answers as well, the things that no one in our 100 said. So if you're playing along at home, you can see exactly how well you've done. I think a great show in store today. We've got Graham and Bob, who are a great pair. I think they'll want to go one step further. Zena and Julie, of course, who, let's say, made an impact. We've got teachers, we've got accountants, we've got these guys. I think it's going to be quite a battle. I always say you don't know any of the questions or any of the answers on today's show. No. So everything on today's show is a surprise to you too. So best of luck to everybody, and best of luck everybody at home.
Thanks, Richard. Last time, finalists Simon and Martin won the jackpot of £1,500. So today's jackpot total starts again at £1,000. But remember, if you find some pointless answers along the way, each one of those will add £250 to that amount. Let's play Pointless. So in the first round, each of you must give me one answer and you cannot confer with your partner. You will score 1 point for every one of the 100 people that gave that same answer. And remember, this is pointless. You are trying to find the least well-known answers and score the fewest points. If anyone gives me an incorrect answer, they will, I'm afraid, score the maximum of 100 points, so do be careful. If you do give an incorrect answer, this will happen. You really don't want to see that. At the end of the round, your combined score will be totalled up and the highest scoring pair will be eliminated. Obviously, only 2 pairs can make it through to the head-to-head semi-final, so the pressure is really on. OK, our first category is family films. OK, can you decide in your pairs who's going to go first? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, let's find out what our first question is going to be. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many Disney animated feature films as they could. Richard, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, we're essentially looking for any animated feature film that has been produced solely by the Walt Disney Animation Studios. We're essentially just looking for the, the sort of animated classics, we quite sometimes call them, produced solely by the Walt Disney Animation Studios for cinema release.
OK, thanks, Richard. Right, Graham and Bob, before the show, you all drew lots, and it turns out you will be starting us off today. So, Graham, give us a Disney animated feature film. Preferably an obscure one.
Yeah, I'm going to go for one of the oldies, perhaps one that people not remember the most. I'm going to go for Robin Hood.
Robin Hood. Very good. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Robin Hood. It's a correct answer. Oh, it's good. Very good. That means 15 of our 100 people said Robin Hood. That gives Graham and Bob a nice low score of 15 to kick us off. OK, Dave and Matt, what are you going to give us? Dave?
I've thought of another older Disney film, I think, and it's Pinocchio.
Pinocchio. Very good. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Pinocchio. It's a correct answer. Not bad. That means 36 of our 100 people said Pinocchio. That gives Dave and Matt a score of 36. On to our next pair. We are looking for Disney animated feature films. The more obscure, the better. Deanne, what are you going to say?
Obscure I do normally, but I really can't think. The only one I can think of is The Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid. Let's see how many of our 100 people said The Little Mermaid. It's good. Not bad. That means 19 of our 100 people said The Little Mermaid. OK, Zena. Is this a good one for you, Zena? No. It's not geography.
No, that's true. I just seem to pick all the ones that are the number the hundreds.
You always say that. Come on.
I know, we always say that.
It's going to be a low scorer. What's it going to be, Zena?
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
All right, maybe this time. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Let's see how many of our 100 people said that. That means 71 of our 100 people said that. In any other game show, that would be a fantastic score. However, this is pointless, where the aim is to score as little as possible. Ah, well, on to our final pair. And Rick, what are you going to say? We are looking for Disney animated feature films.
I think Jack and the Beanstalk.
Jack and the Beanstalk. Very good. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Jack and the Beanstalk. Ooh, unfortunately, Rick, that is a wrong answer, which means you score the maximum of 100 points. Richard, Jack and the Beanstalk. Yeah, what happened there?
A classic children's tale, but not a Disney animation, I'm afraid. Unlucky.
OK, well, we are halfway through the round. Let's see how we're doing on the scoreboard. Well, Graham and Bob looking very good there on 15. Nice low score. If you can keep up that low scoring, you will definitely be through to the next round. Rick and Anthony, I'm afraid you are way out ahead on 100 points. All right, we're coming back down the line. Can the second players please take their places at the podium? OK, Anthony, we are looking for Disney animated feature films. You are currently on 100 points. You've got to try and score as little as you possibly can. What are you going to give me?
Fantasia.
Fantasia. Oh, dear, Julie didn't like that answer at all. I don't know, maybe she didn't like the film. I don't know what that's all about. OK, Fantasia. Let's see how many of our 100 people went with Fantasia. It's got to be low, Anthony. Got to be low. Oh, it's coming down. Not bad. That means 25 of our 100 people said Fantasia. That takes your total up to 125. Oh, Julie, you're currently on 71. To avoid overtaking Anthony and Rick on 125, you want to be scoring 53 or less. Something tells me you had Fantasia on the tip of your tongue there.
That's twice that is now.
I don't know, just terrible.
It's dreadful.
Terrible.
Now, I've got something obscure, but I'm not sure whether it's classed as a feature film. But I'm going to go for Steamboat Willie.
OK. You want to be scoring 53 or less to avoid becoming the high scorers. There's the red line. If you are below that red line, you are definitely through to the next round. If it is an incorrect answer, I'm afraid you will score the maximum of 100 points. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Steamboat Willie. Unfortunately, that is a wrong answer, which means you score the maximum of 100 points. Richard, Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, Steamboat Willie was the original Mickey Mouse animation. It wasn't a feature film. It was just 8 minutes long, so it doesn't count.
Oh, bad luck. I mean, that was good knowledge. But bad luck. I'm afraid that means you score 171, and that means you are definitely the highest scorers in this round, so you will be eliminated at the end of the round. None of the remaining pairs, even if they score the maximum, will be able to overtake your high score there, I'm afraid. But, guys, for those remaining pairs, nice chance to look for some pointless answers and see if you can add £250 to our jackpot total. OK, Catherine. We are looking for Disney animated feature films.
I think this is Disney. I'm going to go for The Sword in the Stone.
The Sword in the Stone. OK. Let's see how many of our 100 people said The Sword in the Stone. That's good. Down it goes. Oh! Very good. That means 5 of our 100 people said Sword in the Stone. That takes your total up to 24. OK, Matt and Dave. Time for a pointless here, I think.
I'm ashamed to say that I'm a little bit of a Disney geek, despite being 24 years old.
It has to be pointless, then. Well done. We are looking for Disney animated features.
I'm going to go for Basil the Great Mouse Detective.
Very good. I don't think anyone would have thought of that. Let's see how many of our 100 people... You are a geek, aren't you? That's fantastic. Let's see how many of our 100 people went with Basil the Great Mouse Detective. It's correct. Oh, down it comes. Could it be a pointless? Down it goes. That means that none of our 100 people said Basil the Great Mouse Detective, and that adds £250 to today's jackpot, bringing it up to a total of £1,250. Very well done, Matt. OK, Bob and Graham, let's have another pointless from you. Bob, what's it going to be?
The Aristocats.
The Aristocats, very good. Let's see how many of our 100 people said the Aristocats. It's good. Very good. Could this be pointless? Down it goes. Ooh. Almost. That means 9 of our 100 people said the Aristocats. That brings your total up to 24. So that's the end of round 1, and the losing pair with the highest score is Zena and Julie. Bad luck. Steamboat Willie was very impressive, though.
It was. It was very impressive, but wrong.
Well, no, a useful bit of Disney archive. Sadly, it just wasn't long enough to be a feature. But now the pressure's off. You can think of 1,001 other Disney films, surely, can't you? Really? Really?
I wanted the Beatles.
I wanted
the
Doctor
60s,
Who.
Yeah.
We don't do requests. What am I, Tony Blackburn? Come on. Well, bad luck, guys. Well, you did pretty well, and I thought your archive knowledge of Steamboat Willie was very impressive indeed. I'm just sorry it was 78 minutes too short to be a feature film. There we are. Richard, what else should they have gone with?
Yeah, well, there were 18 pointless answers. If you've got any of these, well done. Matt's already given us one. The Great Mouse Detective. Chicken Little, quite a recent one. That was pointless. Fantasia 2000. If you'd added 2000 to Fantasia, like you care, you're through anyway. But it would have been £250. So let's take a look at a couple more. Lilo and Stitch was pointless. Meet the Robinsons and Brother Bear, another recent one, would have been a pointless answer. Let's take a look at the most obvious answers you could have given. The third worst answer you could have given would have been Bambi. That was very popular. The second worst answer was Cinderella, and we can usually rely on Zena to have given us the most obvious answer. The worst answer you could have given, and that was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Those are the worst three answers.
Thanks very much, Richard. Zena and Julie, that was your second and final chance on the show. You just didn't have that pointless cartoon knowledge, I'm afraid, that we needed to get you through to the final. So I'm afraid we do have to say goodbye, but thanks so much for playing. You've been great. For the remaining 4 pairs, though, it's time for round 2. OK, guys, the round 2 category is capital cities. OK, can you decide in your pairs who's going to go first, who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. Now remember, Pointless is all about scoring the fewest points. You need to rack your brains for those obscure, unheard of answers you think the fewest of our 100 people said. With that in mind, let's find out what the question is. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many capital cities beginning with B as they could. Richard, fill us in.
We're looking for the capital of any country of the world whose usual English name begins with a B. As always, by countries, we mean a member of the UN that is a sovereign state in its own right. The only other thing I'll say is, in countries that have more than one capital, we're looking for the administrative capital. That's just, you know, your regular capital. There are 26 world capitals that begin with B. OK, Bob and Graham, you're kicking us off. Bob, a capital city beginning with B. What could be simpler?
Absolutely no idea, so I'm going to go for a complete guess. Brasilia.
Brasilia. A complete guess?
Yeah.
If it's wrong, obviously, we'll score the maximum of 100 points. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Brasilia. It's good. It could be very good. Not bad at all. Good guess. That means 13 of our 100 people said Brasilia. Richard, Brasilia.
Yeah, Brasilia, very good. Brazil's one of those countries where people get confused about the capital. It's not Rio, it's not Sao Paulo, it's Brasilia. So a perfect answer.
Matt.
I am going to go with Bratislava.
Bratislava.
I think it's a capital city. I hope so.
I hope so too. If it's not, it's 100 points. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Bratislava. It's good. Down she goes. Oh! That means 5 of our 100 people said Bratislava. Richard?
An even more perfect answer, it turns out. Do you know where Bratislava is the capital of?
Moldova.
Oh, it's so close. Slovakia.
OK, on to our third pair. Catherine.
I don't really think this is one, but I'm going to have to say it. Budapest.
Budapest. Well, we are looking for capital cities beginning with B. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Budapest. It's good. It's very good. That means 19 of our 100 people said Budapest. OK. Richard, Budapest.
Yeah, Budapest is the capital of Hungary, of course.
On to our final pair. Rick, what are you going to give me? We're looking for capital cities beginning with B.
I'm going to have to go with the only one that I can think of, that's Belgrade.
OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said Belgrade. It's a correct answer. Oh, it's very good. Look at that. That means 7 of our 100 people said Belgrade. OK, we are halfway through the round. Let's have a look at the scoreboard. Very revealing. OK, Matt and Dave looking very strong on 5. Keep up that low scoring and you'll definitely be through to the next round. Catherine and Deanne, it's not bad, 19, but I'm afraid you are our high scorers. So you've got to try and score as low as you can on the next pass. Hope everyone else scores high. OK, we're going to come back down the line. Will the second players please take their places at the podium? OK, capital cities beginning with B. That's what we're looking for. Anthony.
Beirut.
Beirut. You want to be scoring 11 or less with this to avoid becoming the new high scorers. There is the red line, way down there. You want to come in below that red line to be absolutely sure of staying on. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Beirut. It's a correct answer. Oh, it's good, Anthony. It's very good. Look at that. That means 6 of our 100 people said Beirut. That takes your total up to an impressively low 13. Richard, Beirut.
Yeah, Beirut, great answer. Capital of the Lebanon.
OK, Deanne, you are our high scorers on 19. You've got to try and score as low as you possibly can. What are you going to say?
Well, all of the ones that I was going to say have obviously been taken.
Always happens.
Because I knew all of those places. The only one I can think of, and I'm not sure whether it is a capital, which I'm ashamed to say. I'm trying to think of jigsaws when I was a kid, trying to fit them together.
Yeah, that's how I remember
Yeah,
them.
and they're all a bit muddled now. Is Bern?
If it is wrong, you will score 100 points. But let's see. Bern. It's the right answer. You see, it's very good. Look at that. That means only 5 of our 100 people said Bern. That takes your total up to a very impressive 24. Richard, Bern.
Yeah, Bern, capital of?
Switzerland.
Switzerland, exactly, yeah. It's another one like Brazil. It's not Zurich, it's not Geneva, it's Bern. So, very good answer.
OK, Dave and Matt, we are looking for capital cities beginning with B. You want to be scoring 18 or less with this answer. Dave, what are you going to say?
I'm going to say Bridgetown in Barbados.
There's your red line. It's a low red line because everyone's scoring low. Of course, if your answer is wrong, if it's an incorrect answer, for whatever reason, you will score 100 points. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Bridgetown. Well, it's correct. It could be very good. It's good enough to see you through. Oh! That means 2 out of our 100 people said Bridgetown. That takes your total up to 7. You are definitely through to the next round. OK, Graham and Bob. Oh, it's tough being there, isn't it?
It is.
Have you had all your choices picked off by all the others?
Absolutely, yeah. Bern was going to be one of my favourites.
Oh, dear. OK.
The really, really obvious ones are left now, which I'm not going to use because that means we're out. So I'm going to have to take a real punt upfield and go for Bogota.
You have to score 10 or less with Bogota. There's your red line. It's just down there. Oh, let's see how many of our 100 people said Bogota. It's a correct answer. It's good. Not a pointless, but it's good enough. That means 9 of our 100 people said Bogota. That takes your total to 22. That's great news for you two. So at the end of round 2, the losing pair with the highest score are Catherine and Deanne. Bad luck. 24, it's a really low score there.
Yes.
Bad luck, though. I'm afraid your capitals just weren't obscure enough.
No, we need to travel more, obviously.
Did you have others as well up your sleeve?
Absolutely not.
No.
Really? Oh, well, you've done very well all the same. Richard, what answers should they have gone for?
Well, there were 9 pointless answers. There'd be people shouting obscure things at the television set now. Let's take a look at some of them. There is Bandar Seri-Begawan, which, of course, is the capital of... Stop shouting out. It's the capital of Brunei. Bamako, which is the capital of Mali. Bangui, which is the capital of our old friend, the Central African Republic, which seems to turn up in every pointless list we ever do. Banjul, which is Gambia. Basseterre, which is St Kitts and Nevis. Belmopan, which is the capital of Belize. A couple more, 3 more, I think. Bishkek, which is Kyrgyzstan. Bissau, which is Guinea-Bissau. Some people have got all of these at home. And Bujumbura, which, of course, Alexandra is the capital of Burundi. I won't embarrass you. Burundi, we know you know. Well done at home if you got any of those. And if you got all 9 of them, you possibly need to... I was going to say you need to get out more. You actually need to get out less. Let's take a look at the most obvious answers you could have given. Catherine, you gave us Budapest, which was the 3rd most obvious answer. Next up was Brussels. Alexander?
It's Berlin.
Berlin was the worst answer you could give.
Well, thanks very much, Rich. OK, Catherine and Deanne, you've wasted one of your chances to get to the pointless final. We have to say goodbye to you for today, but we'll see you next time for your last chance. Thanks so much for playing.
Thank you.
For the remaining 3 pairs, however, it's time for round 3. Now, obviously, only 2 pairs will make it through to our head-to-head, so this is your final chance. All of you need to find those low-scoring answers to stay in the game. The round 3 category is pop music. Well, that's good news for Rick and Anthony, isn't it?
Maybe.
Let's hope. OK, who's going to go first? Who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, let's find out what the question is going to be. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many Kylie Minogue top 40 singles as they could. Possibly slightly less good news for Rick and Anthony. Richard, fill me in.
Essentially, we're looking for any song released by Kylie Minogue in the UK that's charted in the official UK top 40. We're also including duets and collaborations in that. There are, and it beggars belief to say this, 43 such singles. He's had 43 top 40 hits.
Wow. OK, remember, you need to score the fewest points possible. So you need to give the answer that the fewest of our 100 people said. OK, Bob and Graham, you're first. Bob, what are you going to give me?
Massive, massive Kylie fan. Absolutely. Especially for you.
Especially for you. Let's see how many of our 100 people said especially for you. That's correct. Always good. Very good. I thought you were joking when you said you were a massive Kylie fan.
I am.
I don't know. That means only 8 of our 100 people said especially for you. That gives you an impressive score, Bob, of 8. On to our next pair. Matt, what are you going to say? We're looking for Kylie Minogue top 40 singles.
I'm going to say Kids with Robbie Williams.
Kids with Robbie Williams. Yeah. Didn't know she had any, but there we are. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Kids. It's good. Oh, it's very good. Look at that. That means only 3 of our 100 people said Kids. That gives you an impressive low score of 3. Anthony and Rick, we are looking for Kylie Minogue top 40 singles.
Oh, you've got me now, Alexander. Not really our era. The only one I could think of, if it was theirs, is You're the One That I Want.
OK, you are going for You're the One That I Want. If it is incorrect, it will score you the maximum of 100 points. Let's see how many of our 100 people said You're the One That I Want. Oh dear, unfortunately that is a wrong answer. That means you score 100 points. Richard, You're the One That I Want.
Yeah, You're the One That I Want. It's not Kylie, unfortunately. It's Olivia Newton-John, who was, of course, the Kylie of the 70s.
OK, we're halfway through the round. Let's see how we're doing on the scoreboard. Looking extremely safe there are Matt and Dave with a very low score of 3. Keep up that low scoring and you'll definitely be through to the next round. Rick and Anthony, bad luck, looking very dangerous there on 100 points. OK, we're going to come back down the line. Will the second players please take their places on the podium? OK, we are looking for Kylie Minogue top 40 singles. Rick, you are the high scorers at the moment on 100. You've got to try and score as low as you possibly can.
Let's try Fever.
OK, you're going to go with Fever. Of course, if it is an incorrect answer, you will score the maximum of 100 points. OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said Fever. Unfortunately, that is also a wrong answer, which means you score another 100 points. That takes your total up to 200. I'm afraid you are unequivocally the losers, which means you are definitely leaving at the end of this round, because even if our remaining pairs score the maximum, they will not overtake your high score. Bad luck. Richard, Fever.
Yeah, Fever is actually the name of a Kylie Minogue album, so it's the worst of all worlds. You've got 200 points, you're going home, and you've just admitted on national television you know the title of a Kylie Minogue album.
No shame in that, Rick, I'm sure. Dave, you are currently on 3. You are the lowest scorers. You have a free reign. Even if you score the maximum of 100, you're definitely going through to the next round. Why not see if you can find a pointless single by Kylie Minogue? I bet there are a few.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to be a pointless one, but I'm going to say spinning around.
OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said spinning around. It's the right answer. Not bad. That means 27 of our 100 people said spinning around. That takes your total up to 30. And finally, Graham.
I'm going to go with one of the early ones. Oh, I'm a fan now, haven't I? The locomotion.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said the locomotion. It's good. That means 37 of our 100 people said the locomotion. That takes your total up to 45. So at the end of round 3, the losing pair with the highest score is Rick and Anthony. Bad luck, guys.
We couldn't have got there no matter what with such low scores.
Richard, what answers should they have gone for?
Well, she's released 10 pointless singles. These are the answers that none of our 100 people could remember. If You Were With Me Now, which was a duet with Keith Washington, Did It Again, Given You Up. These are all toe tappers. If you get any of these at home, very, very well done. Please Stay and In My Arms, they were both top 10 singles, but no one remembered them. And The One was also a pointless answer. The worst Kylie singles, the worst things you could have said. The third most obvious answer was Can't Get You Out of My Head. The second we've already had from Graham. It was The Locomotion. And Alexander, the most obvious Kylie single of all.
Anyone?
I Should Be So Lucky.
I Should Be So Lucky.
I Should Be So Lucky was the most obvious answer of them all.
OK, well, thanks, Richard. OK, Rick and Anthony, you've wasted one of your chances to get to the pointless final. We have to say goodbye to you for today, but we'll see you next time for your last chance. Thanks so much for playing. However, for the remaining 2 pairs, things are about to get even more exciting as we enter the head-to-head. So well done. Matt and Dave, Graham and Bob, you've made it through to the head-to-head. Now, only one pair can make it through to today's final and play for today's jackpot, which currently stands at £1,250. OK, here's how the head-to-head works. You are now allowed to confer. Each team will take turns to give me an answer, and you'll each have an equal number of turns. The first team that accumulates more than 100 points, or the team that goes over 100 by the most, will lose. So, as always, to stay in the game, you want to come up with those really obscure facts that everyone else has forgotten about and score as few points as possible. Matt and Dave, you performed best over the first 3 rounds, so not only do you get to decide whether or not you go first, you also get to choose the topic, and your choice is between athletic events or currency.
I know that I wouldn't be any good at athletic events, despite my body. Should we do currency?
Yeah, currencies, please, Alexander.
Currency. And would you like to go first or second?
First, please.
OK, currency, and you're going first. Let's play Pointless. Right, let's find out what the question is. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many British pre-decimal coins as they could. Richard.
We're looking for any coin that was in circulation between 1900 until decimalisation in 1971. There were 11 coins.
OK, remember, you don't want to go over 100, so you want to score the lowest number of points each time. What are those pre-decimal coins that no one else could think of?
Can we go for a halfpenny first?
A halfpenny, or even a halfpenny?
A halfpenny.
OK, let's see how many of our 100 people went with halfpenny or halfpenny. It's a correct answer. Ooh, that's high. That means 61 of our 100 people said halfpenny. After your first answer, your score is 61. OK, Graham and Bob.
Yeah, we're going to go with threepence.
Threepence. Let's see how many of our 100 people said threepence. That means 62 of our 100 people said threepence. You've each given one answer. Graham and Bob are on 62, Matt and Dave on 61. Now, Matt and Dave, you need to be very careful now. Your next answer could take you over 100, and you could risk being eliminated. You have to score 39 or less to avoid going over the 100. Well, we are looking for British pre-decimal coins.
We're going to go with guinea.
OK, here is your red line coming in. You have to score below that red line to avoid going over 100. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Guinea. Unfortunately, that is an incorrect answer, which scores you the maximum of 100 points. That takes your score to 161. It's not all over yet. Graham and Bob have yet to give their second answer. What's it going to be?
Half a crown.
You are currently on 62. Matt and Dave are currently on 161. To avoid overtaking them and being the high scorers and being eliminated, you have to score 98 or less. There is your red line. If you come in below that red line, you are through to the final. Let's see how many of our 100 people said half a crown. It's good.
Well done, that man.
That means 60 of our 100 people said half a crown. That takes your score to 122. You've each had 2 turns. Matt and Dave, I'm afraid you have gone over 100 points by the most, and I'm afraid that means you are now off the show. Richard, put us out of our misery here.
Yeah, of the 11 pre-decimal coins, there was actually one pointless answer. If you got this one at home, absolutely top marks. The pointless answer was a third farthing, which would have got you absolutely nothing. Sovereign would have got you 23. The most obvious answers, sixpence was 78 people said that. Then the shilling, and the absolute top answer of all was the penny. Penny was the worst answer of all.
So why wasn't Guinea allowed?
Well, the guinea, unfortunately, came out of circulation in 1813, so way before our time.
Thanks very much, Richard. OK, Matt and Dave, you've wasted one of your chances to get to the pointless final. We have to say goodbye to you for today. But we'll see you next time for your last chance. Thanks so much for playing. But for Graham and Bob, it's time for our pointless final. Congratulations, Graham and Bob. You've fought off all the competition and you've won our coveted pointless trophy. Now you've got a chance to win our pointless jackpot. At the end of today's show, the jackpot total stands at £1,250. OK, the rules are very simple. To win the money, all you have to do is find a pointless answer that none of our 100 people could think of. We've had one pointless answer today. Neither of you two gave it. But let's hope you can find one now. First, you've got to choose a category from these 3 options. And you can go for European politics, Australian movie stars, or radio personalities.
What do you fancy?
Politics is not my strong point. Let's go for... Oh, you as well. What do you think? Radio personalities?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do me.
Radio personalities.
Radio personalities. OK, let's find out what the question is. So, we gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many BBC Radio 2 presenters as they could. Richard, fill us in on those.
Yeah, we're looking for any current presenter or DJ on Radio 2. There are 50 names on the list. It's a fairly broad church, but they've got to be current DJs or presenters.
You now have up to 1 minute to come up with 3 answers. All you need to win that £1,250 is for just one of those answers to be pointless. Your 60 seconds starts now.
We've got to go for the ones that are really hard to get. So the likes of Chris Evans and Terry Wogan, we're not going to use those, are we? What about something like Mark Commode or what's the guy from Mark and Lard? Mark Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Ooh, come on.
What about Whispering Bob Harris?
Is he still on?
Yeah, he's still on.
Yeah, OK. Cool.
We've got 32 seconds left, mate. So, OK, so Whispering Bob Harris.
30 seconds.
We'll go for
that. Whispering Harris. We'll go for Mark Kermode.
Yeah.
And...
You're definitely sure about him, yeah?
Yeah.
OK.
And we'll also go for...
Ali Jones.
Good one.
Ow. Right, so Ali Jones.
Ali Jones.
Whispering Bob
Harris.
Brilliant. Have you got your 3 answers?
Yeah.
We do have our 3.
Fantastic. We can stop the clock there. OK, those 3 answers are?
Whispering Bob Harris, Mark Commode,
and Ali Jones.
Let's put them up on the board. We are looking for BBC Radio 2 presenters. OK. This for the jackpot of £1,250. One of these answers has to be pointless. Let's put your first answer to our 100 people. How many of our 100 people said Bob Harris? For £1,250. Whispering Bob Harris. Down it goes. That means 5 of our 100 people said Bob Harris, so unfortunately that is not a pointless answer. You only have 2 more chances. OK, let's put your second one to the test. Mark Kermode. Let's hope none of our 100 people said Mark Kermode. We are looking for BBC Radio 2 presenters. This for the jackpot of £1,250. You've had 1 chance. This is your second. Mark Kermode. Oh, no! Unfortunately, that is an incorrect answer. So that means it is not a pointless answer. So you only have 1 final chance to win today's jackpot. We are looking for BBC Radio 2 presenters. We've really got to hope that none of our 100 people said your third answer of Aled Jones. Let's see. This is your third and final chance at the jackpot of £1,250. You confident? Who would have thought? All your hopes were resting with Aled Jones.
If we win, we'll be walking in the air.
Yes, you will. I should think you will. OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said Aled Jones. This is your final chance to win £1,250. Has to be pointless. It's a correct answer. For £1,250. Is it good enough? Aled Jones, it has to be pointless. It is! Congratulations! You managed to find that all-important pointless answer. That means you go home with the jackpot of £1,250. Well done.
Thank you very much.
You are walking on air.
I love you. I know. To kiss you both heads. I know, you shall. You shall. You shall.
Yeah, you didn't think you'd done it there, did you?
No.
Who was the other one you'd thought of?
Desmond Carrington.
I bet he was pointless. Aled Jones, it doesn't matter though. Aled Jones has done it for you. Brilliant. Mark Kermode, that was harsh.
Yeah. Is he Radio 1? Must be Radio 1.
Maybe he's Radio 1.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Well, let's find out. Richard.
Well, actually, Mark Kermode's more usually Radio 5 with Simon Mayo. I think you might even talk about Mark Radcliffe, because you were talking about him during the 60 seconds.
Yeah.
So Desmond Carrington would have been pointless, but who cares, because Aled Jones presents Good Morning Sunday on Radio 2, but none of our 100 people knew that.
Well, you've done that really well. That was fantastic. You structured it so beautifully there with Aled Jones, your final choice, and also the pointless answer you needed to win the jackpot. So, guys, well done. You've been fantastic. Goodbye. Thank you. So, Graham and Bob won today's jackpot. Join us next time when we put more obscure knowledge and forgotten facts to the test on Pointless. Meanwhile, goodbye from Richard.
Goodbye.
And goodbye from me. Goodbye.